Do you ever just feel stuck? Like so overwhelmed that you can't move forward? That is exactly how I'm feeling right now. And the days keep passing, so life continues to move forward, but my life feels like it's stuck. So I'm 45, and this is not exactly where I thought my life would be right now. And I'm sure many of you experience the same thing. When you're 18, you graduated, you're about to step off into the world, go to college or get a job, move out, like make all these plans, and you have the world in front of you, and it seems grand and glorious, and it just feels like everything's going to fall into place magically, and then it doesn't. And then before you know it, you're 45 and you are sitting here feeling like time is running out. And there's this weight and this pressure that you have not accomplished the things that your 18-year-old self thought you would have accomplished at this time. And I realize a lot of that is pressure I put on myself. I think society adds to some of that, right? Society expects by the time you're 45 that you have certain things accomplished and that your life should be in a stable place, you know, you should just have life figured out in a sense. And when I sit here and think about that, I know that I don't have life figured out. And that's a really scary thing to think about. And it's not that I haven't done things in my life, because I have 4 beautiful, amazing children who are grown. I have a stable career that I love. But there are definitely things that I feel like are missing in my life. I was married and divorced. Um, but I feel like there's not enough time left. When you're 18, you have all these years in front of you and you can see everything so clearly. And you know that even if you make a mistake, even if you take a wrong turn, there's still so much time to correct it. Well, now at 45, I don't feel that way. Like there's not enough time to correct it. At least in my mind, there's not enough time. And I realize that sometimes that's irrational thinking, but nonetheless, it's there. Those thoughts are still there. And so I'm still struggling with, where's my life going? What do I want my life to look like right now? Is the life I have, the life I've built, is that enough? Because, and it's hard for me to say this, but the life I have right now is not enough. I think that's one of my struggles. That's one of my problems, because I feel like there is something still missing. And I can't quite pinpoint what that is. Because, like I said, I have lived a full life, and I have been blessed with many things. No, my life has not been perfect, and I'm definitely not going to get into all the trials and tribulations that I've faced along the way. But when I look at the grand scheme of things, like I'm doing well for myself. And I still feel like I'm missing something. And that is not a good feeling. And then there are times when I feel extremely overwhelmed by this feeling that I don't know what to do with it. And to be honest, what happens most of the time is I do nothing with it. I can sit and I can contemplate and I can think about it. I can take notes. I can have conversations with friends. I can make plans even sometimes. Plans for what I'm going to do and how I'm going to accomplish different things. But what ends up happening is I get overwhelmed by that feeling. And maybe the feeling is I'm choosing the wrong thing, or I'm going down the wrong path, or I'm just wasting more time. And this is the crazy thing about it. Because I get overwhelmed, I do nothing, which in a sense is wasting more time than if I were to do something, even if it was the wrong something. At least I would be doing something. But instead, I just do nothing, and I just continue on with the life that I have. And I feel like I've been in that pattern for probably a long time. And I don't know if it's just that I'm so scared that I'll go down the wrong path and it will all feel like it was for nothing. Or I just don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. And that kind of leads me to what I'm doing right now, talking to you guys. Because I feel like I have so much inside of me that I want to get out, that I need to get out. And then there's that fear that no one will even care. That no one will even care what is going on in my head right now, what is going on in my life right now. And that I'm stressing and struggling and still choosing the wrong path. And that's a really difficult thing for me to think about too. I think sometimes I think about perfection and how I want everything to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, or if it doesn't feel perfect, then I choose to not even do it, which is unrealistic. And that's the crazy part, is I know that it is unrealistic, and I would not expect perfection from anybody else. So why do I expect it from me? Why do I expect it from this video, this recording? Why do I expect it to be perfect? I don't think you guys expect it to be perfect, because life is not perfect. Life is messy. Life is all over the place. Life is full of ups and downs, and forward steps and backward steps and sideways steps and runs and crawls and falls and get backs up again. That's what life is full of. It's not perfect. And I don't know where that feeling that it had to be perfect came from, but that feeling that it has to be perfect has halted me in many of my ventures, right? Because I guess it goes back to that wasted time. Because I feel like if it's not perfect, no one will care, and then I will have wasted more time. And at 45, and gosh, I know I'm not, I'm old, but I'm not like old, and I know that, I recognize that. But it feels that way. And I feel like I don't have any more time to waste, that I'm supposed to have it all figured out right now. I can remember back to when my mom turned 40. And we made a big celebration. And over the hill, I remember that. All the cards were over the hill at 40. I'm 5 years past 40. So I guess at this moment, it feels like I am over the hill and I'm on the downside of the hill. And I think back to my 18-year-old self, and it makes me really sad. Because where did the time go? Where has all the time gone? And why does it feel like for most of my life, I've just been sitting in the same place, not doing anything? And that is really a struggle. And so what I'm gonna end with is this, what I'm doing right now, this is me taking a step forward. And it may not go anywhere. It may be a step that doesn't amount to a path. It might just be a couple steps down this road, and then I might realize this is not the right path. But what I'm starting to see is that taking this step even if it is not the right step. It is better than just sitting here doing nothing. It is better than allowing my emotions to overwhelm me, my brain and everything in my mind to overwhelm me, and for me just to be too scared to even take that step. So, no matter how old you are, no matter what you might be going through, take that step. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't even have to be the right step, but take a step. I don't want to be stagnant anymore. So take that step with me. Let's move forward together. So I didn't originally plan on adding this, but after I stopped recording, I realized I didn't fully explain or expound upon a couple ideas that I feel I want to explain a little bit more. And I'm going to be honest, I thought about re-recording and just adding these pieces in and not making like a part 2, but my brain automatically went back to perfection and how I needed, or I would need for it to be perfect, my need for it to be perfect. And I know that if I re-recorded, I would keep re-recording and keep editing and keep trying and probably never finish because it would never feel perfect. And so I didn't want to mess with what I recorded first. And so that's why I'm adding on to this part 2. So when I was talking about the 18 verses 45, I don't think I exactly explained why that part feels so heavy to me. So think about 18-year-old you and think about how you felt when you had the world in front of you. And yeah, you didn't have everything figured out. I mean, when I was 18, I actually didn't have a lot figured out, but I felt like I had time to figure it out, right? I actually went to college when I was 18. I dropped out, came home, got married, had kids, went back to college, got my degree, and just life kind of continued that way. But in those moments, I didn't feel like I had messed up, or I didn't feel like I had this time crunch that I had to make all the right choices because I had time in front of me. I felt like I had so many years that I could figure life out. And now at 45, it just doesn't feel like that anymore. Like at 18, you have all these options and you can spend a couple years doing something and then realize it's not right for you and switch it to something else. Or you can take a couple steps down a path and be like, hold up, this isn't working. And it doesn't exactly feel like wasted time. I think it feels like experience and you're learning more about yourself. So you're able to make better informed choices for your future. And then it just feels like, around 25, 30, you should be figuring your life out, right? And you should be on this path and on this trajectory that's going to lead you to accomplish all the things that your 18-year-old self thought you would accomplish. And you felt like you had options. You felt like you had time. And that wrong decisions could be recovered from, right? And at 45, it just doesn't feel that way anymore. It doesn't feel like I can spend a couple years, even a couple months doing something and then it turns out to be wrong and now I've just wasted that time. That's what it feels like for me. It feels like I have just wasted that time and it feels like I don't have any time to waste. And I'm not sure why that is so heavy on me, but I'm so scared to go down the wrong path because it just doesn't feel like I have any time to waste. And so it feels like every decision that I make matters more and more, which honestly puts more pressure on me. And that turns into a lot of indecision. which is crazy. And I alluded to this a little bit in part one. I alluded to this a little bit in part one of my video on how, it's like this cycle of I need things to be perfect, or I need to not make the wrong steps. And that overwhelms me and puts pressure on me. And therefore, I don't make any steps at all. So I'm still wasting time. Like, I'm scared of wasting time by making the wrong steps. So I choose not to take any steps. And in reality, all that really is wasting time, which is what I was fearful in the first place. So that's just kind of like a conundrum, right? And I'm not really sure why my thoughts go in that cycle. But I just feel like that's really been weighing heavy on me. And I'm struggling to figure it out. And I feel like there's just not any time to figure it out. One of the things I also want to talk about is what feels missing. And this is something that I struggle with because I know that I am blessed. I know that I'm grateful for what I have in my life. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my job, my career, my family, my friends, the people in my life. I'm grateful for them. And so when I say something is missing, I don't want that to hurt anyone's feelings, because it's not that what I have right now is not enough, because it is enough. And I love the life that I have. But I've always felt like there was more in my life that I needed to do, that I needed to accomplish. And it's not necessarily surrounding my children or even my career, but I've always felt this pull, this tug to do something more. And that's something that I really struggle with, because I'm not there yet. And it does feel like something's missing. And I don't know how to put that into the life that I've created. And that's really a hard thing for me. I thought at 45, like I said, my life would be figured out. I would have certain things already accomplished and be moving forward to retirement and such as that. But that's just not where I feel right now. I still feel like, I don't know, sometimes I still feel like I'm like 25, 30 in the stability of my life, and maybe even younger than that, but that I don't have, I don't know. I think some of it is comparison, right? I look at other people my age and I'm like, man, they've got it figured out. And I think this is where social media comes into play, but that's a whole nother topic. But it looks like other people have life figured out. At least on the outside, that's what it looks like. And I don't have it figured out. There are a lot of things that I haven't done with my life that I still want to do. And I'm still struggling, I guess, to find where I fit in this world. And I'm just struggling with something that's missing. And I don't know, maybe everybody feels this way. I don't know. But I definitely feel like things are unfinished. Things are not quite where they need to be yet. And I'm scared to take any steps because I don't want them to be the wrong steps, because that's wasting more time. And I just don't have the same time to figure that out anymore. And this is really a hard piece. So I know I still don't have a clear answer, but I think maybe this is what I'm doing now is a part of that. And I'm willing to take that step, even if I'm not completely sure, because like I said, taking this step, even if it is the wrong step, is better than not taking a step at all. I don't know. I'm definitely still figuring it out, but I have to remember it doesn't have to be perfect. I just have to take that step